Gaurango.
Gauranga.
Haribo.
Hariom, Hariom.
Haribo.
Adesha. Haribo, Haribo. Sura Chandre.
Prabhupada was here, he'll have something to say. I wasn't here, I was in Chicago. Wish I could have been here, but as I mentioned before, when Prabhupada visited the cities, we're all going down to Atlanta, no, and stay and do your service, right? Just like you want to get to, okay, you get initiated, you become one. Otherwise, you even in Atlanta, the Prabhupada's arriving at the airport, and the book distributors are still distributing books, they even though they read. That's what the dedication of us. So it's more like, and work now, samadhi later. That's how we. Seems like we're more like samadhi now, we'll work later. No, you get that spirit, you grab this Krishna consciousness. So, without further ado, we'll play this video, and then we'll have some discussions here about Balavadra and Parampara.
When Prabhupada arrived at the airport, it was a very ecstatic moment for me because I saw Atlanta Airport as being a place where Prabhupada performed his pastimes. So I always connected book distribution with Prabhupada performing his pastimes because I knew that that service meant so much to him, and I always felt his
had already arrived, and there was this ocean of devotees, all in complete ecstasy with their hands, reaching up to the Vaikuntha, and Srila Prabhupada just beamed from ear to ear, just beamed. You could feel it in the car. You could just feel the ecstatic energy emanating from him. So as the car pulled up to the temple, Prabhupada got out, and no one's feet were on the ground. It was like, the part of the Bhagavatam where it describes in Maharaj Yudhishthira's kingdom, no one felt anxiety, no one felt the pain of hunger or thirst or separation from relatives or all these things that we are constantly disturbed by. At that time, no one felt it. You did not feel the pain of being in the material world. It was Vaikuntha. And Srila Prabhupada was the conductor of the orchestra, and we were all members of the orchestra playing our different parts.
In Atlanta, Prabhupada began his lectures not by singing Jayarada Madhava, but by singing Parama Karuna, Kahundwijana Nitai Gorochandra, in a very slow, moving melody. The temple was not large, so it provided an intimate setting. And there, Prabhupada gave one particular lecture, which I'll always remember. The lecture only lasted 3 minutes. I was sitting right in front of him, and he began to explain how Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are so merciful. They're giving Krishna, although no one knows who is Krishna. And he urged, take shelter of Lord Chaitanya. As he was speaking like that, his voice full of wonder and devotion, just 2 minutes into the lecture, his voice began to crack, and as I sat in front of him, I saw the tears shoot from his eyes like coming from a syringe. And then Prabhupada just stopped speaking and, without another word, climbed off the Vyasasana and left. And devotees who were with him when he went to his quarters said he didn't speak at all about what had happened.
On Monday morning, Tamal Krishna Maharaj took all of us, about 80 devotees. There were 3 bus parties who had converged to Atlanta to see Srila Prabhupada. We all went into Prabhupada's room. Prabhupada started to lean against his bolster, and he spoke about brahmachari life. And he said, my Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, loved this brahmachari life. He said, you can sleep anywhere, but if you get married, then you have to get an apartment, and so much trouble. So when those 3 words came out of his mouth, my jaw dropped. I was like shocked. I thought, he's trying to save us. He's trying to save us. Then his smile went off his lips, he became grave, and his eyes became deep, and he said, so the senses will bite. They will demand satisfaction, he said. Then he pointed his finger at us, but you preach. And he put his hand up, and you pray to Krishna. And Krishna can make this itching sensation go away. And he flipped his hand. Poof. But then his hand went like this. But if it does not go away, and he pointed in the back of the room, standing Gadidas and Ajadas. Then like them you can take. He did not insist that we remain brahmachari. But my Guru Maharaj very much liked this brahmachari life. And that's how he ended his talk. And as soon as he ended it that way, I thought, that's it. No more questions. That's what I'm going to do. I was completely convinced. And the crux of his conversation was preach. That was the most impressionable thing of my entire devotional life.
When Prabhupada saw the golden child, he named this new Banyajina. And then also I presented an outline of a book, Life and its Origin, about 12 to 14 chapters in this book. And so Prabhupada approved all of them. And then Prabhupada said, but you should have one more chapter in this book. So the title was, Original Life is about Krishna. And then I requested Prabhupada, will you please write it? Prabhupada, yes, I am right for your book. And we are supposed to write that book together, but it has not still come out yet. I'm preparing, praying Prabhupada's mercy. What I'm planning to do is get the compilations from Prabhupada's writings, then try to put it together, that section. Original life is about Krishna.
You know that when one goes to see the spiritual master, one should have an offering. And so we found a wonderful old photograph of his Guru Maharaj. We put it in the frame and Kim beautifully decorated it with pearls and gold paint. It was quite attractive. He had entered the room and was sitting at the end of the room, and on either side were all the senior devotees and sannyasis. And Prabhupada looked to his disciples and he said, "Where is my Guru Maharaj?" There was no photograph of his Guru in the room. I didn't realize that this was Bhaktisiddhanta's appearance day. And at that very moment, I walked up to him, approached him, and handed him a picture of his Guru Maharaj. Prabhupada put his hands in a namaste pose and just bowed his head a little to me in gratitude. It was just a wonderful opportunity for me to be able to present something to Srila Prabhupada. He was always so gracious to me. He always treated me with such affection and respect. I was not qualified for anything, yet he always gave me everything.
After Prabhupada arrived, he had darshan, and I was invited to come up. I had my son with me, and I walked in, and Prabhupada said, "Who is this?" I said, "This is my son." And he said, "This is a very nice boy. I want you to take care of him and take care of your family." And I was thinking more about book distribution because that was my service. At the time in the movement, family life was not something that we really thought about. So later on, my son and daughter were put into prison. It was when that happened, I went back to that. And I heard that clear from Prabhupada, take care of your son, take care of your family, and I realized that I'd failed in that effort. So for 5 years, I did some soul searching. I wanted to really understand the true meaning of family. So I just felt inspired to try to establish an organization to deal with the issue of family. The organization that I've established, it's called Save the Family Foundation. The first thing that we try to do is establish the fact that God has to be the center. And if God is in the center, then there is a foundation on which to build the family on. And I've been able to do that, and now my son and daughter are doing very well. They're living productive lives. And going back to Prabhupada's instruction, that the way to really please my spiritual master is to take care of my son and take care of my family. So I've dedicated myself to that mission.
When he offered arati to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, I was looking from a great distance, and all I could see was an ocean of saffron and dundas. And being in a woman's body, I was so frustrated because I knew I wasn't going to get to see Prabhupada offer the puja, and I was Gornitai's pujari. So there's a window right beside where Prabhupada was, and I ran around the outside of the building and stood in the window so that I was facing Prabhupada and I could see every expression, everything he did. And there were other women that joined me. And then after he would offer the arti paraphernalia to Bhaktisiddhanta, he would turn and he'd offer right to us in the window. And as he was offering the conch shell with the water in it, Prabhupada was looking for the bowl to pour the water in. And he looked over at Balavadra and said, bowl, bowl. And Balavadra put his hands up in the air and went, Hari bowl, Hari bowl. And I was like, oh no, he wants a bowl. And Prabhupada, you could see that he was a little perplexed, what am I going to do with this water? And so he turned and he just poured it all over Tulsi Devi. And Balavadra said that Prabhupada asked him, who has dressed the deities? And he said, Titiksha. And he said, very nice. So when Balavadra told me, it's like at least I can take that with me, that I pleased him at least once.
See, no Charadeshna, he passed away. Mr. Diksha? She's in over there. So, all elderly, some of us more so than others. So we have, again, Balavadra and Parampara here. And we'll invite them to please come up and they can speak. I'm going to give 2 mics, however you want to do it. But okay? So let's give them some mics for them.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shungiladi Upaskataristani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasana Gopal Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. So first, I want to thank all of you for being here. I know it's regularly the Sunday feast, and most of you come, pretty much. But today is very special. As Sikhi Prabhu so nicely, eloquently described, observing Srila Prabhupada's 50th anniversary of coming to Atlanta. When I say that, I start to feel kind of old. And I'm thinking, 50 years? Wow. It's a long time. Most of you are not even 50 years old. So 50 years ago, you know where I was standing when Prabhupada arrived? Take a guess. With all the devotees outside? No. I was standing on his Vyasa-san. You might think, what? The reason was, we were so new in this building, everything was just happening. So when we heard that Prabhupada was coming, we were shocked. Prabhupada's coming here? We just moved in. I mean, come on, it doesn't make sense. So we had to rush and build a Vyasa-san. The same one you see right now was the one that was built. But the devotee who supervised the building was Radha Mohan Das. He was our primary brahmachari trainer, wonderful, wonderful disciple of Srila Prabhupada. I owe so much to him. So he had me assist him. I was a kind of a young, healthy little guy. I was like, Balavadra can do this, Balavadra can do that. So in order to check and make sure it didn't fall over, he said, stand on it. And I said, what? Prabhupada's right out here. No, stand on it. Make sure it doesn't fall over. We have a history in Atlanta of things kind of falling over. When we built a new altar for Gornitai years ago, on Janmashtami night, or Gord Purnima, whichever, Rasanada and a few devotees were holding it up so it wouldn't fall over. So I was standing there, looking at Prabhupada, getting out of his car, completely I don't know what to do. So then as he got out of the car, I jumped off the Vyasas to go and meet him. So there are so many pastimes of Prabhupada in Atlanta, many, many devotees, even as far away as Canada. Bhakti Mark Swami was here. He came to Panayati Festival one year, and he said, I was here. I went, really? From Canada? Yeah, we had devotees from everywhere. as Sikhi was saying, there was major competition between Atlanta and Chicago and LA. New York was not even really on the map. It was Chicago, Atlanta, and LA. We were just fighting it out. But what was that fight? To please Prabhupada. So that Prabhupada would see in the newsletter, such and such devotee did this and that. So you heard Charudeshna speak. It's a bittersweet moment. He's not here. I mean, I depended on Charudeshna so much. I could look and say, Charudeshna's here, right? Charudeshna's here. But now he's not physically here, but we heard him today. So when Charudeshna, as he said, he was so dedicated to book distribution, you cannot even imagine. On Friday, he would get up, Mangalarti in Atlanta is 4:30 in the morning. He would get up before Mangalarti, go to the Atlanta airport, and distribute books all the way to the end of the day. So one time he did over 200 big books. Now this is before Krishna Life and Mahotsaha did 5,000 books in one day. No one had ever done 200 books, no one. So Charudeshna did that. So all the scores were sent to Prabhupada. Prabhupada loved to see the book scores. He said, it gives me life to see the book scores. So keep that in your mind. When you distribute books, it gives life to Prabhupada. So he saw that Charudeshna had done 200 and some odd big books. And he personally wrote, it is simply wonderful that Charudeshna has done 200 plus big books. Charudeshna Prabhu Ki Jai. A lot of points you can consider from that. As Tatiksha, my dear God sister, said, Prabhupada says, very nice you address the deities. And she took that as a life blessing. So you can imagine what motivated Charudeshna to keep going until 2 weeks before he left this world, practically. Still trying to go on Sankirtan. Still trying to go. So what motivated him was, like he said, the instruction from Prabhupada to take care of his family, which he tried his best to do. But this blessing from Prabhupada, that is wonderful that you distributed 200 big books. That drove him to the end of his life. So now Prabhupada is not physically here, okay? But he said, he even said it here in Atlanta, there are two things about the Guru. Vani, which means what? What does Vani mean?
Instructions.
See, if you don't know what it means, then you won't understand. Vani means instruction. Vapu,
Physical form.
the physical form. He said, of the two, the Vani, the instructions, are more important than the physical form. So you can feel a little sad that you were not here with me in Parampara. We were here in the temple dancing. Prabhupada was there. But you have something even more. You have his instructions in the form of his books. Not only books, videos, audios. I mean, I have a little service I do every day. I send out a Prabhupada lecture every day to the devotees in 3 different WhatsApp groups and Facebook. Because I feel like devotees are wasting a valuable resource called social media. I see you many times on social media. Radha Rose. I love your kirtans, very nice. Social media is meant for what? Gibberish, however you want to say it. Nonsense. That's what most people use it for. Politics, family photos, whatever. But it's an amazing resource to glorify Krishna and his pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. The things that they've done. And I want to share something which, it may sound controversial, but in my mind is not. So please bear with me. We recently lost President Jimmy Carter, who was a very kindly man, very nice man. So down the street, less than 1 mile, maybe 2 miles, is the Jimmy Carter Center, Presidential Library. So I think we're over here, so close to where he is, well, that building is, and it's so beautiful, so nice. Has anyone been to the Carter? It's a beautiful place, beautiful garden, so nicely done. So here's my controversial point. Please don't be mad at me. Let me give a backstory. One time at the Sunday lecture, I said that, what do we want to do? Just like in the case of Lord Jesus Christ. To this day, the archaeologists, researchers are still trying to prove whether or not he lived. They have something called the Shroud of Turin, trying to say that's maybe his form. But they haven't found anything really concrete that this man was real. So I told the devotees, what do you want to do? Wait for 2,000 years and go digging in the dirt to prove Prabhupada was real? So one member said, no, but Prabhupada would not want that. He didn't want that. I said, but he may not have done it. We have a responsibility to preserve Prabhupada's memory. Now think about it. As the video just showed, Prabhupada walked, but not on this particular floor. Under this floor, there's another floor, marble. And under that floor is a wooden floor. When we moved in, the floor was a wooden floor, little slats. At that time, Parampara was Bhakta Peter. He had just come from Emory University. So I was kind of in charge of him a little bit, okay? So the night before Prabhupada arrived, we were in anxiety because the wood floor, because we danced so much in Atlanta, the floor was coming up like that. And little nails were popping up. So Parampara and myself, that night before Prabhupada arrived, we crawled around the entire floor and countersunk the nails. And we were meditating on the gopis. They didn't want Krishna to go in the forest and hurt his feet. So we were meditating on Prabhupada. For us, Prabhupada was more a meditation than a directly serving him, because I never, while he was here, got a chance to do anything, pretty much. Oh, one thing I did do. I was selling candles for the temple. We had a Spiritual Sky company, the #1 incense company in the country in that time. So I was one of the salesmen. So I was in South Carolina somewhere, I sold a lot. I called my temple president, Balavadra, who you saw in the video. I said, Balavadra, I want to buy something. What was it? It was a teak wood table with a brass tray. So he said, how much have you sold? I said, 5,000. He said, oh, buy it, bring it. Little did I know that that teak wood table, brass tray, is the one that Prabhupada offered to Bhaktisiddhanta for his Vyasa Puja. Krishna knew, so he inspired me to bring it to serve Prabhupada. So being in the presence of Prabhupada, my dear friend, we call him Balavadra #2. Where is Balavadra #2? There he is. His name is also Balavadra, but I keep telling him, I'm the only Balavadra Bhattacharya. You don't get that. I believe you were here, weren't you? Him, his brother, he has 2 brothers that were also disciples of Prabhupada. So Balavadra #2 told me something the other night that really touched me very deeply. He said the electricity, the energy of Prabhupada when he was in this room is still here. Think about that for a second. The energy that drove all of us to madness is still here. But it's only here for those who actually appreciate it. Just like in one Vaishnava song, it says, days like Janmashtami, Radhastami, Gaur Purnima are the mother of the devotees who respect those days. They will cause devotion, but you have to respect those days. Okay? On Janmashtami, there's certain things we do. Gaur Purnima is coming up, there's certain things we do. Tomorrow is coming up. What is tomorrow? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. And the 50th celebration of Prabhupada doing that Vyasa Puja. So back to my controversial point. I didn't forget. So I thought, in my mind, and I'm giving you my impression, it's not something I can quote from scripture. I can't even quote Prabhupada, but this is my realization. Okay? Because I heard some devotees recently analyze whether or not it's more important the Shastras, the literatures, Vedic literatures, ancient Acharyas literatures, or Prabhupada's words. I'm not going to ask you to answer that. I am telling you what my personal conviction is. Prabhupada's words are more important to me than all the Vedas, all the Acharyas. I don't even compare them. So when I thought about this Carter Center, I said, Prabhupada's presence in Atlanta was even more significant than that. Challenge me if you will. I'm not going to say I don't care, but I don't care. That's my motivation. That's my heart. That what they created there should be recreated here, even in a grander scale. How many people went to Kumbh Mela in Israel? Kumbh Mela is such a big, 500 million people over the course of, what, a month or so? It's unbelievable. But again, Prabhupada's coming to Atlanta is more significant than that to me. I don't know about anyone else, but to me. I could go all, people have offered me plane tickets to go to Kumbh Mela. And I said, no, I have my Kumbh Mela right here. Because when you go to the holy place, the most significant thing that people sometimes forget, you go there to get the association of the sadhus. So the sadhu came here. And for those who follow Iskcon or Krishna consciousness, is there a greater sadhu for us than Prabhupada? I don't think so. I great respect for all the sadhus and great respect for all the acharyas. Great. But Prabhupada is the life and soul for me and many, many others. So I want to share something with you. I'm just trying to give a little bit of a feel how to think about this place. Balavadra described it. I was just coming here with Samoha Prabhu. He drove me here from another place. So he came down the street, Springdale. I said, this is where Balavadra brought Prabhupada. He wanted Prabhupada to see the beautiful houses on Springdale. Take that road sometimes. Multi-million-dollar houses. He wanted Prabhupada to see our temple is in a very prestigious location. Has anyone ever been to the Detroit temple? Very prestigious building. Sikhi was actually there. That is the building that was owned by the Fisher Mansion, Fisher Body by Fisher. But when the devotees bought it, it was just like practically a ghetto. It was not really nice. There's a river or something across the river, was not so much. But Prabhupada saw the future of that place. He encouraged Ambarish Prabhu, great-grandson of Henry Ford, and the daughter of Walter Luther. Yeah, so they bought that place. Now you go there. Unbelievably fabulous, wonderful place. So here, what you don't know, some of you might know, let's set the stage. What did Prabhupada, what was his impression of this place? Did he ever say what he really thought about this place? Take a guess. Yes. Where did he say it? Take a guess, Radha. What do you think, Radha? What do you think Prabhupada mentioned this temple? What would be an amazing place for Prabhupada to talk about this temple in India? You went to Vrindavan, right? Yeah, you went to Vrindavan. He talked about Atlanta in Vrindavan. And I thought, what? This is just Atlanta. Come on, this place is nothing. So this is what Prabhupada said. He said, this is a lecture, speech, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, 1953, Vrindavan, April 20th, 1975. This formula of the Vedic Shastra, and you will be surprised. I invite you to go to our different centers in Europe and America, how they are chanting, dancing before the deity. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, or Radha Krishna. Recently, this is amazing. Recently, I have been to Atlanta. This is Prabhupada speaking in Vrindavan for the first time, because he actually this is the second time. It was the first time in the temple proper. He came the first time only to the airport, not this current airport, the old airport. And they greeted him there. They had a big, nice program for him there. But he never came to the location. First time at the location. Now listen to how he describes it. But the boys and the girls there, which included me, Parampara, Charadeshna, the whole huge list, Balavadra, they have taken 3 buildings. He actually says 3 big houses. You're sitting in one of them, over there is another, over there is another. So he says, the middle house has been transformed into a temple. You're sitting in that temple right now. How nicely they are chanting and dancing. You will be surprised if you go. So he's telling the Brijbasis in India, you'll be surprised if you go to Atlanta. So his pastimes in Atlanta was so significant that the governing body commission of this whole movement, they designated certain places to be considered as shrines. This is from the Iskcon law book that is being somewhat revised, but this is the Iskcon law book. Shrines and memorials. Number 1, places of Srila Prabhupada's pastimes shall be maintained as permanent shrines. I'm not going to miss the words. Permanent shrines. And his paraphernalia shall be collected and preserved in memorials to him. We do have some of Prabhupada's paraphernalia available here. Number 2, the responsibility, now this is important, the responsibility for maintaining the worship of Srila Prabhupada shall be borne, taken care of, carried by Iskcon as a whole. That means the whole movement is supposed to take care of these shrines. Atlanta's one. And distributed amongst the temples and initiated devotees of the society. Number 3, there shall be a committee named the Bhaktivedanta Swami Memorial Committee, whose members are appointed by the GBC. It will determine where and how Srila Prabhupada's rooms and paraphernalia shall be preserved. Now listen. Srila Prabhupada's rooms in the following places shall be maintained as permanent shrines in remembrance of his pastime. Number 1, Vrindavan, Vrindavan Dham Ki. Mayapur Dham Ki. Bombay, Juhu Beach Ki. Los Angeles, Sushi Rukmini Dwarkadis Ki. Honolulu. Guess who's number 6? Guess who's number 6? Guess who was number 6? Say it loud. When I grew up, they had a song, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud, I'm Atlanta, New Bunny to Dom and proud. Because if you're not proud, this place will never make it. Prabhupada said, ownership turns sand to gold. It's your job. Parampara, myself, many of us. I mean, every day I'm seeing one of my god brothers, god sisters passing away from this world. It's amazing. So, I don't know. Whatever time I have left, we'll do the best that we can. But the point is, it's going to be on you. To carry that spirit of Nupanyati Dham. You have to carry this spirit, otherwise it won't make it. And what is that spirit? I keep saying, the most significant thing that I can imagine about this temple is Prabhupada's coming. Okay? His being here. Turn this place into a real Dham. So it's like you spend money to go to India to go to different Dhams. Here's a Dham right here. Approved by the international governing body of the movement. This is a shrine. So what should we do? What should be our move? We should do everything we can to preserve this place as best that we possibly can. Prabhupada deserves even more than our dear Mr. Jimmy Carr. Don't you think? Am I just a fool? Am I crazy? Am I just dreaming? John Lennon said, right? What was that song he said? Just imagine. But if you don't imagine, it won't happen. Believe me, if you don't imagine something greater for Prabhupada, it will be whatever it is. No problem. But it's not up to Sweta Sarup to imagine. It's not up to Sikhi Mahiti or Veda Sara or the board of directors to imagine. It's up to all of us to imagine how much better can we offer Prabhupada in this place. And then you'll see it manifest. So I'm just so thankful in my latter years. I never thought I'd get to be the age I am now. I'm 73, and I thought when I was a young man living in the hood, I thought I'd make it to 50. Probably I'd get shot at, I don't know what was gonna happen. 73, 52 years in the movement. And I've been trying my best to make sure that we don't forget Prabhupada's coming here. So please, I beg you, put it in your heart. Imagine something greater for Prabhupada. It's not that this is not wonderful, this is wonderful. But can it be better? You know what they say in business? There's only one question a businessman can ask. That is, how can I improve upon that which I do every day? So the meditation is, how can we improve what we're offering? Shri Gornitai, Balavadra, Javanna, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki. So I request my dear godbrother, Parampara, who's actually, along with his wife, maintaining a wonderful farm up in Tennessee. He's been doing it for many, many years. But he was also the treasurer. Were you treasurer? In Atlanta, you were treasurer. Yeah, he was our treasurer. Kept us out of trouble. So let's hear from His Grace, Parampara.
Krishna Vidaya, Krishna Prastaya, Budale, Shri Mate, Bhaktivedanta Swami, Namaste Saraswati, Yovam Chana, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Paschatya Deshatare, Vanchakalpaturuvascha, Kripasindri, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Radha, Shri Gaur Bhaktavinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, I had no idea what to say here today. There's so much to say, and it's impossible to pack it into a little thing. So I started thinking about Prabhupada's visit, and I thought, well, I'm going to try to list all the devotees that I remember that were at the temple. Wow. These are devotees that I can remember, and I know there are more, and believe it or not, I never saw this footage. I'm a little technical challenged. So I never saw the DVD, I never saw this incredible footage, so there's a few names that maybe show up. But, do you mind if I just read these names?
Yeah, purify us.
Okay. This is like in Chaitanya Chaturveda. So it's like, there'll be a list of people who were there when some amazing pastime happened, right? So this is just off the top of my head. Balavadra, Gokula Ranjana, Aja, Gadi, Sadaputa, Swarup Namadar, who became Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj, Madhava, Mahashakti, Munjikesh, Charadeshna, Balavadra Bhattacharya, Vaikunta, Jivanuga, Swavas. Remember Swavas is in the Srimad book. Bhakta Ran, Bahushra, Sahasrandi, was he here?
Yep.
Radha Mohan, just an amazing, thing. Anyway, Brahmachari. Kardamamuni, Ramanath Sutta, who later on became the cook and the head pujari here, and he was so expert at making sandesh, he used like a champion juicer to like process the paneer, and the devotees brought some sandesh that he had made here in Atlanta to India when they went to India for the Gaur Purnima festival, and it was given to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada tasted and said, "Who has made this? He should come and teach everyone how to make sandesh." That's Ramanath Sutta. Haricharna was the treasurer here at the time. Vaishnavananda, Jivarja, Jita Kroda, brothers from North Carolina. Jayasena, Maheja, Kokika, we might have still been talking to John, or he might have. Huntagati, Bhakta Brian. Bhakta Brian was a big burly guy who actually stayed at the Trappist monastery out in Conyers, and he's the one who built this little stairway that goes up the hill here with the railroad tie steps that still exist. Wow. 50 years later, Prabhupada stepped up those steps to go to a little path across, and then up the driveway, around behind the building, up the little rickety wrought iron stairway up to the quarters, where it's in the kind of like the attic apartment of that building over there. Bhakta Brian Ki Jai, and Bhakta Patrick. Remember Bhakta Patrick?
Don't forget Patrick.
Bhakta Glenn. Bhakta Glenn. Vedaguya. Vedaguya is my friend, my personal friend. We've been students together over at Emory, and at this time he was still Bhakta Mike. He had gone to India and got into a little difficulty, and devotees saved him in Vrindavan. Because he was smoking. And he got a little off the rails there, but the devotees in India saved him. He came back to America, and as soon as he kind of stabilized, he came to the temple, and he became a devotee right on the spot. And guess who was here as the temple president? Balavadra, who had been his fraternity brother over at Emory. So that was Vedaguya Das. So Vedaguya Das, we were friends, and we were running a little vegetarian restaurant over across from Emory. And he, after he became part of the temple, he very persistently was coming over to the restaurant to try to persuade me and my wife to come, and was leaving books and this and that. So anyway, he recruited me to come to the temple in the 2 weeks before Prabhupada arrived to help fix things up. They had just moved in this place. Maybe November, December of 74. The deities had just been installed in the spring of 74, am I correct?
On 13th Street.
Back on the original main location down on 13th Street where the IBM building and all that stuff is now. And so the deities were installed officially for worship in the spring of 74. By the fall of 1974, they made this astounding move that this is devotees at a certain point in the years before that, they had a fixed place to stay. They were staying in people's apartments. They were moving from this apartment back in the day. Jamajaya has told the story of it. And so all of a sudden, now here we are establish ourselves in this place, which is like one of the most prestigious neighborhoods in Atlanta. This back here, Druid Hills, is like designed by Frederick Law Olmsted. This entire district, it was designed by this famous American landscape. Anyway, on and on and on. So, but we had just moved in, so it's a little shabby. And so Veda Guri kind of recruited me to come over and help kind of fix things up, sand things to paint, and scrub floors and things like that. Dr. Allen, I list myself. Okay, so that's in the late. Oh yeah, I was thinking if we can find copies of the Vyas Puja books from 1974 or 75, we probably have them. You can get even a more complete list. This is just off the top of my head. I don't know if Janmashtami was here, Dr. Jim. I don't know if Ross was not here. Saptarath, there was a devotee in Saptarath who was doing, he had gone to Mayapur to learn how to do the diorama, the dolls, the clay dolls that they were using to make dioramas, and he was here. Then I said, okay, he's in the Rotterdam traveling Sankirtan party. And I remembered as Mahamantra became all three buses. They were traveling the whole United States in Greyhound buses converted into traveling ashrams. Radha Damodar actually was installed for worship here in Atlanta. On 13th Street. Back down on 13th Street. So that was the first deities actually installed for worship here in Atlanta. Gorditai were installed. Then they were installed here. They've been here ever since. By the way, think of it. 50 years. We're thinking back 50 years, but let's go fast forward through 50 years. The worship of these deities has been maintained 24/7, 365 days a year for 50 years. Going strong. Talk about something to be proud of. This is what we can be proud of. You know, a year later, or later that year, Lord Jagannath, who actually came to America with Gornitai, Jagannath Balaram Subhadra, were saw later that year. Radha Madan Mohan in 86, under the leadership of His Holiness Chaitanya Maharaj and Balavadra. And so anyways, I digress. So Radha Damodar was here. That meant tomorrow Krishna Maharaj here. I think I saw Adi Kesha. I think I saw him in the video. He was there. He was a bus leader, so he would have been here. Our dear beloved Pita Das, talk about someone who's now departed. Pita Das was one of the Radha Damodar Brahmacharis and Maharaj. Rupanuga, Satsvarup Maharaj, Devamrita Maharaj, Bhakti Marg Maharaj, Tripurari, Paramahamsa Swami here, Shuddhakirti himself was Prabhupada's servant, and then Mahabhuti, okay, the library party, Satsvarup Maharaj's library party. They were traveling the country selling sets of Prabhupada's books to libraries, to university and college libraries, and to public libraries. And on that party were Mahabhuti, Kalakanta, Dhira Krishna. And then, and there are several, if you go, I am a little bit functional as far as things. There is Prabhupada Vani, all the lecture tapes, Prabhupada's lecture tapes. So there's about 6 or 7 tapes of Prabhupada's arrival and his stay here in Atlanta. If you look at the context, in January, there was a whole set of tapes, like a whole month's worth, in Bombay. Prabhupada was finishing the business in Bombay of securing the property and establishing, and then they moving forward to the Bombay project. Okay, Prabhupada knew in about 4 months from January, April, he was going to open the Krishna Balaram Mandir. So Bombay, Juhu, Krishna Balaram Mandir was about to open. And then at the end of January, he took off on a whirlwind tour, Hong Kong, Honolulu, Los Angeles, Mexico City, Caracas, Miami, Atlanta, Dallas, New York, London, Calcutta, all within 2 months. And my impression was that he was absorbed in a Gornitai ecstasy, the whole, especially in Mexico, Caracas, and Miami. Because the same type of deity, I don't know if they were they there then though? Were they there then?
The deities?
The deities,
Yes.
were they there then in 75?
Yeah.
So he saw Gornitai deities that are just like the deities here, full-size, tall Gornitai deities in Miami. There are 4 places in the world that have deities like this. Atlanta, Miami, Morari Seva, and
Mexico.
Mexico, but Australia.
Mexico.
Mexico, full South. Okay, I didn't know that. So, ecstasy, Prabhupada arrives. The lecture could not have been more than a minute or two. Prabhupada weeps as he sees Gauritai and he considers how merciful they are. But there is a tape of a conversation, just couldn't be more than an hour or two later in the day. And he's talking with Swarup Damodar. Swarup Damodar, his brahmachari disciple, who was a microbiologist who was doing research over here at Emory. And Prabhupada is preaching like a lion. The difference could not be more stark. He is weeping on the Vyasa here, seeing Gauritai and considering the compassion, how the same Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, who appeared in Bengal 500 years ago, have come to Atlanta. Krishna is kind, but he demands that you surrender. But Gauritai, they are so kind, Prabhupada chokes up. They do not even ask you to surrender. They just give you the mercy. They give you prema bhakti. And that's when Prabhupada choked up and he had to leave. An hour later, Prabhupada is preaching like a lion, challenging, and so Swarup Damodar had been, there's a whole series of tapes. Prabhupada's walks on the beach there in Venice Beach in Los Angeles, and Swarup Damodar, he had taken Swarup Damodar very close to him as a scientist, because Prabhupada was very pragmatic, and he wanted to preach to the Americans in a scientific way that would appeal to them, because there's so much science, and science, modern science is pervaded by this atheistic viewpoint. Everything can be explained in terms of force and materialism. So Prabhupada is very intent on that. So here's Swarup Damodar's in the room, Sariputa's in the room, Satsarup Maharaj, Balavadra's in the room, and Swarup Damodar is having to play devil's advocate. He's presenting the scientist's argument, and Prabhupada is just smashing away at it, and then Tamal Krishna pipes up and says, it all happened by chance, and Prabhupada says, I kick on your face with a boot. He said it 2 or 3 times. You say that, I'll kick on your face with a boot. That's no answer. That's just avoiding the answer. So Prabhupada displayed an incredible... I'm sorry. I wave my hands like my friend Dr. John. I can't talk about waving my hands. Incredible range of emotion and philosophy and preaching. He was training his preachers, because in the room conversations, all that day and the next day. So he arrived on a Friday mid-morning. He was here all day Saturday. Sunday was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's disappearance day, and he came to the temple at midday, gave a long lecture concerning Bhaktisiddhanta and his relationship as a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta. Later that afternoon, he's again talking to Rupa Nuga and Satsarup, and a whole line of people come to visit him. Some of the monks from the Conver's Monastery, and a professor from Emory, and some psychiatrists from Athens. All these people were coming in. They were listening to Prabhupada and being amazed. Dr. Wolf, remember Dr. Wolf? I didn't remember. I remember Dr. Wolf. Dr. Wolf. Yeah. No, he was maybe a theosophist or some kind of thing. He was very supportive of the temple, but outside. Also, think about it. Iskcon in 1975, the temple was where the devotees are. The devotees are not living all around Atlanta in their own homes and apartments. The devotees are living here. If you live outside the temple, you might be in Maya. You were suspected that you may be in Maya. There was very little leeway as far as devotees live outside the temple. This was. I thought of it later on that actually the temples at that time were kind of like the Gurukula. We were living in Prabhupada's Gurukula. Prabhupada was a guru, and we're actually all living together in an ashram as Gurukulis. So actually we are Gurukulis at that time. Later on, the movement, the organization, the institution, Iskcon, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, unfolded. blossomed, evolved, moved to the next stage. Congregational. Not everybody can live in 2 or 3 buildings. Everybody's going to live at home and practice Krishna consciousness at home, raise families, teach their children how to be devotees, and have altars in their home, and offer their food to Krishna at home, and worship at home. And the temple will become a center for preaching, a center for worship, a center for congregation, a center for festivals. At that time, this is where the action was, and people were coming here. So I don't know where I was going with that.
It's nice, so.
I gotta wind it up. Oh, Lord have mercy.
So these devotees usually do, usually 5 years in yourself, so.
Stand up. Started shaking my face. Oh, the spectrum of what Prabhupada. Prabhupada was training his preachers. He was training his preachers from the moment he arrived and showing this compassion and sensitivity and tenderness. And he was training his preachers when he was roaring like a lion and telling them to kick on their face with a boot if they say that things happen by chance, that life comes from a combination of chemicals. Prabhupada, I was just listening to that lecture that morning, that room conversation, and Prabhupada said, life is everywhere. It's all around us, going on. It's already going on, but you're saying that you are going to create life in a test tube. What is your purpose? And what is your research? You should be researching who has produced life that's everywhere already. Prabhupada, and then things like, Tamal Krishna said, by chance, and I'll kick on your face with a boot. And it's like, he's teaching sort of Damodar, who went on to a very distinguished career and completed that book, the book about, there's versions of it, the small little paperback that we hand out, Life Comes from Life. You got to think about it. Life is there. The material forms come and go. Life passes through the form and goes on. This is the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. This is what's not understood. This is number one. This is the number one teaching that we have to understand. Life is already there. It's not created. It doesn't become. It doesn't happen as a combination of chemicals or some kind of reaction or something. It's there. The soul enters into a body. It leaves the body. This is the fundamental teaching of Bhagavad Gita. This has to be promoted and promulgated in this society at large. The fact that that all these divisions between people on religion, on race, on nationality, these are all based on the body. Krishna consciousness can transform the world. That's why I became a devotee. And I hope that's why everyone here can continue to participate. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
So, of course, I wasn't here for that historic moment, but when Prabhupada would come to America, everyone is meditated on where is he, you're trying to get some information. It's not like nowadays, instantly, like I'm doing this broadcast, that's why I have this here. So we get some volunteers to take this service from me. We're doing it on YouTube and some other places. But there was no instant information. I don't know how you get information. What?
Snail mail.
Well, phone call. Phone calls were expensive too, though. You don't know, it's like $1 a minute to call Atlanta to Chicago. So, like, if you wanted to know when there's a Ekadasi, we have some tricks to get around that. We make those. You could make a collect call, which means the person would accept a call and they would pay for it. So you call the operator and give them the number and say, I want to speak to Mr. Such and Such. Mr. Such and says, okay, I accept the call. So, in those days, everybody followed the same day for the vratas. So normally you call Los Angeles, and I have a collect call from Mr. Ekadasi. And they go, Mr. Ekadasi's not here. Well, when will he be here? He'll be here on February 23rd. That's how you do when there's a Ekadasi. Okay, I'll call back. There's no charge. I want to know when is John Masfi. Oh, Mr. John Masfi won't be here till August 25th. So that was our social media. And forget about India, there wasn't even a telephone, hardly. As a matter of fact, Prabhupada had a telephone. They put one in Vrindavan, which was, I think, the only phone. And the next morning he told him, take it out.
Get that phone out.
Why? He says, he answered the phone and they go, hi Swamiji, what are you doing? He said, oh, waste of time, take it out. Because he grew up writing letters from the 1800s. So. Anyways, nice memories and discussions from the Prabhus. One thing to add to this, big Emory connection here, as you know. Prabhu was from Emory University, Balavadra, and Balavadra was studying philosophy, and he had a professor that, actually he said he taught about Lord Chaitanya, and he was in Mayavada. So before he met the devotees, he knew all about Lord Chaitanya. And then he met the devotees. And then, of course, he kind of got all these things going indirectly, and this building used to be a frat house for Emory University also. So that's why it was already like this. You just had to move in, more or less. But I want to emphasize another point here too, the significance of Prabhupada, of course, as we're aware. But as we know, Prabhu mentioned how Prabhupada said that Krishna, he came 5,000 years ago, brought his pastimes, why? To attract us. Right? In the Vedas, you don't hear mention of Radha Krishna. This is very personal. Just like we have the president of the country, he's Mr. President, you don't know about his inner life. That's personal. That's for special people. So there is God. But then you ask most Christians, what does God do all day? Well, he's God. You know, you need something, you pray to him. Right? So that's a one relationship. Like the government, you know, just keep the roads clean and all these things and make the taxes lower. Good government. Who cares what happens in their lives? But then they have a wife and they have children. They're also citizens. But they get more, don't they? You see? So that's what it means to worship Krishna. You get more intimate. So, but nobody would surrender. So Mahaprabhu, he came as a devotee to show us. And as a devotee, he's very merciful, so he made it very easy. And then Mahaprabhu, what did he do? He traveled to spread the holy name. And one of my lines not working, so I didn't write the verse down, but then one was Priti Viti, Nagaradigram, Sagata Prachara, Habe, Mori Maham. That Priti Viti, all over this earth, that all these Nagaradigrams, what will happen? He says he wants you to go and propagate, to Prachara, to preach. And then what will happen from that? He said, my holy name will be known in every village. On the earth, that's what this credo. Did he take the train? No bus, no plane. He had to walk. By train it takes you almost a day and a half. Right? And then you have to pay taxes. And yet he's saying, all over the earth in every village, my name is going to be heard. That's kind of, what? You know, how is that going to happen? You know, China is there, so many other countries are there. So actually, if you think about this verse, it actually indicates who? Prabhupada. Right? He did it. He did this, what was predicted in every village. That name was going to be, and he did it. And he did it in such a way that is continuing. We say one devotee back there, Jayarati, stand up. Stand up. Say easy. She's from China. How's that possible? There's no temple in China. They don't let you go in the street, do a harinam. You can't sell books. So many restrictions. So can't. So this is because of what Prabhupada put in place. Of course, this was the accumulation of Bhaktisiddhanta, who made the first formal organization, because previously, if you want to know about Krishna, you have to find a Vaishnava, right? Because Vaishnava live a very simple life under the tree somewhere. So you have to find him. So how are you going to spread it every town and village sitting under the tree? No. So you need an organization. So first organization tried, it didn't really hold very well. Finally, Prabhupada seconded him, Iskcon, holding together somehow or another, and still expanding. So, this being Prabhupada, and for those of us who are very fortunate to be in his presence, to me that's what I remember the most, I'm sure you all, in the presence of a person who is a pure devotee of Krishna like that. There's no doubt. You have to be a demon to not accept Krishna as God. You know, you could feel his ecstasies and see him. There's no doubt. So, but that potency has been transferred to us. So who would like to become like that? You want to be free from the modes of material nature?
Yes.
We say Haribol.
Haribol!
You want to experience Krishna praying? Say Haribol! Of course, we can't. If we give you Krishna praying, you probably won't preach anymore. Because you'll be in so much ecstasy, you don't care. I think that's why Krishna doesn't give it to us. Everybody has stopped working. Oh, I'm so much separation where Krishna can't do anything. Right? That's one reason you don't get it. Prabhupada knew how to handle it. It didn't bewilder him. Even at death, he's still translating. That didn't even stop him. No, let's finish the Bhagavatam. At death, we're all like, oh, please chant Hare Krishna for me, save me, save me, save me. So it's the seva. You take up this seva, this preaching. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to physically do it, but you should in your heart want to do it. And if you can't, okay, let me support it financially. Like Balavadra, this temple is here, we need this temple, we need to worship of these deities. Everybody, the whole city is benefiting from this. You may not understand that. Is that powerful? Is that auspicious? Even in the neighborhoods where you live, everybody benefits from you being a devotee and chanting your japa. Is that auspicious? So personally, let us continue that, and let us also try to expand, because as you can see, we're old, and you mentioned how many devotees on that list, and only 3 of us here. So when you go back to God, you had a hope. But the body's gonna leave my body soon, that's for sure. Probably lose my mind before that. But anyway, we're near the end. So now you have to take this up. Don't just take it as a means to be happy and joy. Let's go have a festival. Oh, it's so nice, it's so nice. Yeah. No, you do like Prabhupada, you make that sacrifice. Then Krishna really comes to you. He says that in the Gita, which is, to me, is very strange, because in the Gita, what's he trying to do? He's trying to motivate Arjuna, right? Go kill these people. Right? So, but he gives us some lessons there. And then in the end of the Gita, he finally says what? He said, actually, anyone who explains this science to the devotees, he is very dear to me. Why is he telling this to Arjuna? He's on the battlefield. And not only is he very dear to me, but surely he will come to me. So that benediction is there to show what our seva is. And his Jagannazeja Kali is Sankirtan. So let us embrace that. So we're a little bit over. What we'll do now is we're going to bring Prabhupada from the altar and put him here. And I'm not going to bring the bundle and archon. Okay, we'll just do his pranam prayers. We're going to, the flowers, we're going to have an art, we're going to offer a pushpanjali very quickly. We're going to offer a little artik. Well, you want to sing that now? Or? During the artik, what should we sing? Guru Dev.
Where's the room? You ready?
You got to do it quickly, don't make it so long. Okay? All right? Probably not. If you have on your phone, look up Guru Dev, Kripa Bindodiya, and we'll sing that. So, let us all stand up, and we need someone to, I'll start a little kirtan. A chamra, ready for people to, when you bring in Prabhupada. Flowers. So you can repeat after me. We'll do Mangala Archana, and then we're gonna, a short one, we're gonna offer the flowers we have to Prabhupada. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ananjanan Shalakaya Chakshulmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Kristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschitya Deshitarine. We're going to do it 2 more times, so just offer 1/3 of your flowers. Esha Pushpanjali. To the Prabhupada ki. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya. Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale. Srimate Bhakti Vedanta. Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve. Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschitya Deshitarine Esha Pushpanjali. Prabhupada ki. This is the last one. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschitya Deshitarine Esha Pushpanjali. Prabhupada ki.
Krishna
Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Vishwabhat Paranamsa Parivraj Acharya Astri Jalasi Krishna Shri Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Oh Premanandi. Everyone please sit down. We have one more bhajan to sing. Please take a seat.
We're going to have
Very, very famous. Hare Krishna. The mercy of the two brothers, prabhu.Everyone. Karma Karuna Prabhu.Everyone. Nitai Gaura Chandra. Chaitanya Nitai, Sudrita Viswasa Gauri. Bhajavadavai, Chaitanya Nitai, Sudrita Viswasa Gauri. Jaya Shariya, Sera Se Majia, Munke Bolo Hari Hari. Ashana vidare, shuni karasuna gata. Shuni karasuna gata. Samsari madhya, Kriya, Sripade Nahilo Asha. Samsare Madhya, Kriya, Sripade Nahilo Asha. Apna karma, Munjaya Shamana, Soho Ye Lokana Bhasa. Avatar, Sarasidomani, Devaya, Anandakanda. They are the essence of incarnations. The specific significance of these incarnations is that they introduce a process of chanting and dancing that is simply joyful. My dear brother, I request that you just worship Lord Chaitanya Nityananda with firm conviction and faith. If one wants to be Krishna conscious by this process, one has to give up his engagement and sense gratification. One simply has to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, without any motive. My dear brother, just try and examine this. Within the three worlds, there is no one like Lord Chaitanya or Lord Nityananda. Their merciful qualities are so great that upon hearing them, even birds and beasts cry and stones melt. But Lochan Das regrets that I am entrapped by sense gratification. Since I have no attraction for the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, then Yamaraj, the superintendent of death, is punishing me by not allowing me to be attracted by this movement. Go, Premanandi Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. So let's give a big round of applause for three stalwart Prabhupada devotees, the Balavadra Prabhu, Sikhi Prabhu and Parampara Prabhu. We are very grateful and thankful to them for being here. Now, many of the, like Prabhupada Prabhu has mentioned before, that many of Prabhupada disciples, they are going back to Prabhupada's seva in the spiritual world. So, now we still have some of the Prabhupada disciples. Please take the advantage of their association. And and hear about Srila Prabhupada from them, how Prabhupada established this worldwide movement. And it still is going on, and it's going to go on for 10,000 years. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. So we have our Sunday sponsor. I like to call first Surajit Bandapadhyay and family. Please come forward. Bring your whole family. Surajit Bandapadhyay, Apala Bandapadhyay, Shruti and Shan. They are two daughters of Surajit Bandapadhyay. One is 14 years old and one is 9-year-old. So they are all sponsoring the Sunday feast to seek the blessings of all the devotees and the deities here. So can you pray for them? So please raise your hand. Please raise your hand and we chant one time loudly Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much, Bandapadhyay, for coming and for serving all the devotees. Then Pravina Vain Sarvajaya, if you are here, please come forward. I saw them doing the mini arati. Pravina Vain Sarvajaya family, please come forward. They are actually sponsoring the Sunday feast in memory of Indra Vejan. This is actually their 3rd anniversary, and they are celebrating the temple amongst the devotees. It's a very nice way to do it. Can you just don't give back to the deities? So, Pravina Ben and Sarvajaya family, they are wonderful devotees. They have been coming to the temple for a very long time, and they always help the temple for different festivals and festivities. So let's give a round of applause for them. Haribo! And now we'll pray for this wonderful family by raising our hand one time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay, this is for my father. He has been to this temple many times and always supported Iskcon temple and very much appreciated wherever Iskcon temple was there. He has been to many different locations and we always make sure that wherever we go to the Iskcon temple, have darshan over there. And thank you very, very much for chanting for my father. Wherever he is, he's blessed today. Thank you.
So we have a birthday. Nidhi Gaur Prabhu and family, if you're here, please come forward. Nidhi Gaur Prabhu and family, they're sponsoring Sunday feast for their daughter, Achyuta Neela Madhavi. This is her birthday today. This is her actually first birthday. So we have a cake also. So Nidhi Gaur Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Sai Maharaj, and he's been coming to the Atlanta for many, many years. He also does some preaching in Bangladesh also. And he always helping the Bangladesh Jatra there in preaching. And he comes to temple here and serves the temple here also. And he's been living in Atlanta for many, many years. And he brought his family also from Bangladesh and now residing in Georgia. So let us pray for this wonderful child who came to this world as a devotee. And her name is Achyuta Nilmad. We will just pray Achyuta. Okay? So can we chant happy birthday for her? Yes? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Achyuta. Happy birthday to you. Now please raise your hand and tilt towards her. Bless her so she remains Krishna devotee throughout her life. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now she'll cut the cake. As we chant 3 times Haribol loudly, she'll cut the cake. So he's going to cut the cake, and then everybody please loudly chant Hare Krishna 3 times or Haribol, and he will cut the cake. Haribol! 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 Okay, quick. Okay, we're going to chant another one more time. Haribol! Haribol! Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande! Hari Haribol! So mother and father, they are praying for the child that he remains a devotee throughout his life. Can you pray for them? Or can you pray for him? He's only 1 year old. So please raise your hand and we pray loudly. We chant 1 time Hare Krishna for him. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. So we have a couple of announcements. The temple is also going to arrange a Sunday school for the children. So if you have a child like 4 to 5, 10, you can include him or her in this Sunday school. The Sunday school is going to take place in the basement. We just renovated the basement. So Jeshwari Mataji is going to head up the Sunday school. So if you have a children and you want the children to go to Sunday school, you can register. We have a form outside the table, book table there, and you can register there for your child to go to Sunday school.
Next Sunday,
Yes. So on February 17th is Monday, is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Appearance Day. Haribol. How many of you know who is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur? Let's see some hands. Only very few, see. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur is the Gurudev, spiritual master of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. His picture is there right behind Srila Prabhupada Murti. So there is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And that's his appearance day. So there will be a very nice program. In the morning there will be a program, and also there will be a program in the evening. So in the evening, that's tomorrow actually, 17th. Yeah. So you all please pencil that date so tomorrow you can come. You can come in the morning and you can come in the evening also. So evening there will be from 6 p.m. there will be a there will be kirtan, there will be pushpanjali, there will be arati, and there will be mahaprasad, and there will be also glorification by Prabhupada disciples. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur glorification will be glorified by Prabhupada disciples. So you can all attend that, and there will be also pushpanjali. If somebody wants to bring some bhoga for Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, you can bring that and we will offer that to Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. And there will be a nice feast for everyone also after the evening program. But in the morning also we'll have from 11:40, we'll have kirtan, and then we'll have arati, pushpanjali arati, and then there will be also noon arati, and then there will be by 1 o'clock there will be prasadam for everyone. So if you can come, if you can make it in the morning, please come also. And then on the 23rd February, it's Sunday, it's Vijaya Ekadashi. So Ekadashi will be also included in Sunday feast. So there will be a kirtan. Actually, me and Lakshmi were talking about that. We may serve the prasadam in the basement in Ekadashi day, and we can have kirtan in the evening in the temple. So there will be some devotees who will come and do kirtan, so we will have kirtan and prasadam may be served in the basement. But if you cannot do that, then we'll have kirtan right after the prasadam is served. And then on the 26th Wednesday is Shivaratri. We are still, temple man is still talking about it, how you can observe Shivaratri on that day. And if there is some decision takes place, we'll announce that in our groups, and you'll get to know what we are planning to do for the Shivaratri. And then 13 March, Thursday, is what? Gaur Purnima Mahotsav ki Jai Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki. You see the deities, the middle deities, the right side is Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And these both deities are established by Srila Prabhupada ki. So we'll have a very beautiful program. On that day we'll have a Mahakumbha Abhishek. It's called Mahakumbha Abhishek. We brought a lot of water from Kumbha, from the Prayag, Titra Prayag, and with this water you can bathe Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu on his birthday with a lotus flower. So this will be announced also, and we are bringing nice beautiful colors from Vrindavan. They will be arriving maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and you will get to bathe the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with golden colors, with water from Prayagraj. So, actually Chitra Vijay Prabhu has an announcement. He's saying that there is a need of devotees to sponsor the feast for Gaur Purnima, which is actually going to cost us almost $2,500. And it is Ekadashi Prasad. So there's any devotee who wants to sponsor the prasadam for Gaur Purnima, you can come and see me, or you can see Sikhi Mahiti Prabhu. Or you can also see Chitra Vijay Prabhu. Any devotees? Yes?
They can make 500, 400, something like that.
Yeah, we'll see first who can come on. First we want to see any generous person who wants to do from his family, only yourself or with your combine with the family. And then if we can, then we'll combine other devotees. We always get sponsor for this feast for Gaur Purnima. Okay, I know there's some devotees shy, but if you can see me also, I'll be sitting on the table, you can see me there also. So thank you very much again for coming. And we really again want to, from our bottom of our heart, we really like to thank Balavadra Prabhu, Sikhi Mahiti Prabhu and Parampara Prabhu for beautifully organizing this Prabhupada coming here, 50th anniversary of Prabhupada coming to Atlanta. So let's give a big round of applause for this wonderful devotee again. Haribol! Jai Srila Prabhupada ki! And tomorrow also if you come, you'll get to hear about Srila Prabhupada also. About his coming to Atlanta. And how he worshipped his Guru Maharaj's picture here. That picture you see in the behind. So he worshipped that picture here in Atlanta. Is it not, Prabhupada? Yes. He did a Guru Puja for that picture. So thank you very much. So where is the prasadam? The prasadam will serve inside. Now you can all come and have the final darshan of the deities. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.